I guess we should officially call it to order. Do the pledge. How you over here? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is this all the committee? I don't even know who's on this committee for sure.
I think everybody is here, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, except for, yeah.
Well, maybe we ought to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what I was just gonna say, yeah. I'm Mike Schneider, 2nd Ward, Alderman.
Lori Quinn, 3rd.
Yep, and I'm Don Snelton.
Allie Bennett, Northeast Power.
Robin Simpson, Ward 1.
Brad Fawner.
And Alex.
All right.
Alex with the city, trying to madly.
City Block.
City. What is your title? With the city?
Administrative assistant.
Okay.
You got Greg, no, you left it alone.
I mean,
Is Greg on this?
I was
No,
gonna look.
no, he's not. I mean, introduction can encompass a lot of things, I think. Can we toss around a few ideas as far as trying to help bring business here, or just in general? Did anybody have any ideas?
I think it kind of goes with number 5.
Yeah,
To me.
yeah.
I mean, we have to give the reason come to Monroe City over Power or,
Exactly.
We know what our surrounding towns offer.
That was what I was
I was
gonna ask.
That's a
maybe
good
we could
question,
talk to
actually.
Delaware and Paris and Shelby.
Allie probably knows some of that, maybe. Do you?
What's the question?
What's the surrounding towns offer for
So
industrial?
you're gonna have an incident rate on your electric or potentially your gas. I don't know what you guys have in that realm. And then also on the utility side, you'll have an offering for contribution in aid of construction, CIAC, we call it kayak. Both of those policies, I think, are good to have in place for a municipality, utility-wise, utility insurance.
Say that last thing you just
Explain
said.
that to them, what that means.
Contribution in aid of construction is, hey, we want to move out to the industrial park, but we need to extend the gas main an extra 100 yards. That's going to cost $60,000. But our contribution from Monroe City is we will pay 50% of all based on this amount of jobs or whatever you're willing to do for contribution in aid of construction. So we're going to bill you this part and we're going to cover this part because you're coming here.
Okay.
And typically, is there a component of wages tied to that or number of jobs?
You can. I like number of jobs as opposed to wages in our small town, and also like you'll find that I am way anti-red tape sometimes to a fault where it's like we need a little more red tape than that. But I like the jobs component for sure. In Amerin's, just for fun fact, is wages, capital investment, and jobs.
Yeah.
What was the first part of that?
Wages of the jobs, number of jobs, and capex.
Right. But what was it for what city?
Ameren.
Oh, Ameren, okay.
So do you, is that what maybe Palmyra does? Are you giving us an example of any, or do you know any what they do?
I
or
guess
no?
I don't know what other municipalities are doing. Yeah, I mean, I could, incentive rate wise, we developed one for the co-ops, and then all of our co-ops have different kayak policies, so it's just really whatever you want to do. But I could definitely bring some samples if that's useful.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The city of Hannibal's EV rate is pretty good. I have seen that, and that's public, and that's on their website. Which I think all of your rates have to be published on your website, right?
You'd have to be passed by ordinance anyway.
Right. Yeah.
There's no tax abatements or anything?
Yeah, and so that's just the utility side when it comes to mine first for me, but there's abatement opportunities for different levels of investment, but we'd have to have someone come speak to us on those different opportunities.
Well, and that would have to be an ordinance per situation, I think.
I think if we have a policy in place, we should go bring them.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
right?
Yeah,
Or would it be-
absolutely.
It would have to be,
A policy or an
specific-
ordinance?
well, and a policy would be adopted by ordinance. So we would
Okay.
establish a policy and then the ordinance would adopt this policy. So we wouldn't have to go a new ordinance for every
Gotcha.
time we
That makes
give
sense,
an
yeah.
incentive or abatement.
Right,
Like, the good thing about the statewide incentives is that if you have a business looking to come to town, the statewide folks are gonna show up and talk all that talk, and all you've gotta do is smile and show up to the site visit. But it's good to have some local ones that you can bring to the table, because on the site visit, they're gonna turn to you and be like, okay, I'm gonna take advantage of this program from DED, Department of Economic Development. What else can the city add on top of that? And it's good to not have to do that on the fly. But I would say municipalities this size, probably only a quarter of them have something like that in place, but it could set us apart. The industrial park is selected by Missouri Partnership, which is the statewide marketing arm for the entire state on large sites and buildings. It is a premier site as designated by them, and there's only 11 of those in the state. And I think it's personally super sad that we haven't capitalized on marketing that site, because Missouri Partnership is super excited about it. And if I recall, the time when they designated it that and they had a site visit here, the city showed up and put their foot in their mouth.
That's how I understand
Because
it.
you have to come to those meetings ready to say, yeah, right underneath here is a 3-inch gas main, and here's the water, and it comes all the way out to here. We got this many PSI, and by the way, we can have 3-phase out here in 2 months. And nobody knew that information at the time, which that site is on the far side of the industrial park, so it'd be Ross County Electric's 3-phase, your gas, your water, your sewer.
okay. But we shot ourselves in the foot by not being prepared.
Yeah, but it's still a premier site, so I think we
Okay.
just need to come back to the table and say, hey, let's get the site selector over here, the site consultant, over here, and can we
Educate us.
get around to, please?
So what do we need to do that?
It's dual rail served, which makes them really happy. So the next step that I recall was actually, before going back to the site consultant, was to get an option on the property. You can't market it until you have, at the very least, an option on the property. And the 2 property owners that encompass this 200 acres they wanted to market were Moss and Kendrick. Does that sound right? Out there? Moss and Kendrick?
Connie, do you know?
Sure.
MAAS, perhaps?
Oh, Moss, yeah. That would be his mom.
And all we would
Who's
want is an option to sell.
Jerry's mom.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that option needs to be controlled by the city, or if you guys aren't willing to, you need to assist Hannibal Regional Economic Development Council in controlling that option, because it's in Rawls County and HREDC serves Marion and Rawls County. So you do get the benefit in your industrial park of having a very active and phenomenal economic development entity that's ready and willing to market it. But she kind of gave up when the city was like being ridiculous about it. So my suggestion would be to connect with Maria and say we're ready to put our best foot forward, and get the Moss and Kendrick, if that's right.
Moss, it's Dina Moss, 133 acres there.
And what's
Is there
the,
a Kendrick nearby as well, or did I bring that up?
What's that?
Kendrick.
Kendrick, I think, would be on the.
East.
I don't know where Kendrick.
Kendrick.
East of there, most likely.
Is that behind Ackie?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't check it. So you keep going east.
Kendrick would be in
Oh, it's, Dolores, you know, she
Oh.
was, it'd be,
Yeah.
Jeremy Wilson's
Oh.
mother, she's
Yeah.
Kendrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they-
David.
Yeah, they got the
Deborah
ground
Kendrick.
right in there.
That's on the other side of Buckeye Road.
Mm-hmm,
That we got
Mhm.
yeah.
That's where she's talking about.
Is that all within city limits?
And you've had an option on it before.
Okay.
And I have seen that option language. I gave it to Melissa Hayes, actually. I see if I can find it. And then what I would do is just take it back to them and say, can we do this again? We have this option.
So explain to me, because I don't know, when you say option, I don't know what that means.
So it's like, I could get this wrong. It's like a lease if you want it, but you have to pay for the option. So I don't know if you pay, it's like, I don't know, 10% of the land price to hold the option on it, so they'll never, so you would have right of first refusal. I don't remember.
At least with the option to buy and
An option to, to market it to, to buy, absolutely. And
And then you
they
never-
had that option back in the day at like $20,000 an acre because they know it's for economic development. Which the firms that are looking to come to that sort
Will
of
pay
site would bat an eye at 20,000 an acre, but I don't remember what the city had to pay to hold the option for that. If that makes any sense.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, but you might have
That
a,
was lots of years ago.
you might be able to,
Yeah,
maybe
I
get
have the option somewhere, right? I'll send
But
it
then
to
would
you
the city
guys.
have the option to sell that, I mean, they could sell that option to that company, right?
Yes, correct. The right to assign or whatever that's called.
Not just the land, but the option.
oh,
Do the utilities stop at Acutherm? I think
the
Yeah.
city.
Road.
we extended those to them.
Well, and the, Gary's already aware that they need to extend it farther for that new purchase from the elevator, three-phase, and he's already in preparation to do that.
How far is that gonna go?
It's just right on the corner here from Acutherm, so it's right down the road. Cause
Quite a ways, I think, to the end.
right across is the cement.
Are they going all the way to the end?
I think so.
That would make sense, that way for future expansion,
I know he's been looking at poles and stuff for it, but
yeah.
I could be wrong, but
Build out speculative three-phase?
yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
I think the elevator was wanting three-phase.
Mhm.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're gonna go past that?
That's what we're not positive on. I mean, it would make sense, because I'm saying, we've already got three-phase up to this point on this lot, would you be, more interested in that, since it would be faster to,
That's where their anhydrous ammonia is going, correct?
yeah,
Where is that exactly? 'Cause
I don't
right
know.
next to Monroe City Ready Mix,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Right next to, meaning, where are we? South
So it's right east of,
Right east of it, okay.
on the north side of the tracks. Got it.
on the south side of the tracks.
On the south side.
South side.
But on the north side of that road, it kind of goes out there.
In between
Before you
the
get to
road
the tracks.
Okay, got it.
So you know where
Now, there's two
Acutherm,
roads.
yeah,
So you're getting, yeah. There's some residences out there, right? No,
No.
so we're on.
well,
On the
no.
south side.
Yeah.
North or south.
Closer to the other track.
Understood. Okay.
You know where Acutherm, or whatever it is now, I'm calling it stuff,
What is that?
is, right? I'm saying, you're saying north of them, on the east side of Monroe City Ready Mix.
And is that property already city limits and annexed?
Yeah.
It's
City
within
limits.
city limits.
We have a map over there I can take.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't know if that deal has closed yet, but they came to agreement on price and everything in council, and John was working on it. I don't know if it's closed yet or not, but
Kelly, you said that the state's looking at as a premier site, is that, they just call them certified sites, is it the same thing?
Yeah.
What they done at economic, or
It's some
environmental?
fancy new thing that they took and they wanted to do 200 or less. And so it's 200 acres that they picked. It's not certified, though we probably should look at getting it certified once we've crossed all the premier checks. That would be a really great next step for this committee.
What is the other checks for the premier site?
Have the landowner option.
No.
That's really it.
really?
Yeah, does it have a phase, a phase one on it? That north side of the, not north, I don't know my directions. East side?
Doubt, nothing that's, I don't know. We had to do, when we put the road in and the tower and all of that, I did check everything built, but
You don't know how far out.
I don't know how far back, it probably just went to the end of that road now. And I don't think we would have the opposite, well, you might, because the water tower's on that side, you might have done part of it,
yeah.
and that was grant dollars. So in order to finish the premier site, we need to get an option on that land. Is that because of the acreage that's required?
Yeah, so it's just a requirement, because when they have a site visit, the landowner needs to be out of it at that point, right? So they wanna have the city
city-owned properties.
Yeah, the mayor and the one councilman or two show up at the meeting and say, no, we don't own this, but we have an option for this, and here's our option language. And if you don't have that, they're not gonna be interested in your site.
And are there any other lots up there big enough? I mean, with the market,
No,
without being premier?
no, you're asking just marketing in general,
Yeah.
out at the industrial park or elsewhere?
Yeah, there,
I mean, how many acres?
well, let's see, there's on the very south side of Aspect, there's 12 acres there. On the east side, which Mike Weir owns that, there's 3 acres there.
So you don't need like 60 or 80 to have anybody care, and being adjacent to the railroad is incredibly important.
Then there's another 6 acre lot.
So how much?
As far as what you're saying, like,
So 60 or 80 to attract a bigger fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The other thing to think about is like, I mean, all of this stuff takes money. Like a speculative building sorts, all the RFIs that I've seen lately have been like, 50 or 60,000 square foot buildings that have docks and are ready for, they don't have to have gravel floor, or they don't have to have completed floors, they can have gravel floors, but having a building is incredibly important, but building costs are high. I don't know that we could.
They don't have to spec for them or DD.
But I think definitely capitalizing on that premier site should be
Yes.
top of our list. And then
Definitely.
secondly on our list, the council of governments was really close on the housing demolition. Do you have any other updates on that than I do, Robin?
No.
That they were getting photos to get rid of the dilapidated homes via a grant and.
From Monroe City?
mhm.
And
I think what the problem was with that was we can't get a financial audit, so we're not qualified for it until that happens.
Well, but at the time, I think all they had to do was submit pictures, right? And that, or is that not how you understood it?
Pictures usually go with the app unless they've changed it, and maybe they've changed the process.
Last I knew, because didn't somebody in here, didn't
Yeah,
you
I'm
say you went around and like
confusing
took pictures and?
the widening project with the housing project, but one of them you had to have the audit. If we don't have an audit yet?
No.
Why?
We're working on
We're
it.
working on reconciling the general ledger. It's just out of date, needs a lot of
It's gonna
touch-ups.
get done soon.
It's, yes,
We've
like
made
the
a
number
lot.
one priority to get.
They've made a lot of headway on that.
Soon.
Yeah, I
So
think
we might as
that's
well
holding
have-
up a lot of things.
Somebody should go ahead and then be following up with the COG to see what photos need to be collected in the meantime, right? For the houses.
I mean, they used to have to get, agreements with the property owners, but I don't know, like, we're definitely not gonna make this grant cycle because of the audit situation. So I think there'll be another one in April, but I don't know how long those, general agreements, like, if they're 6 months old, or do they have to go back and get them again, or?
I remembered something else. There was the issue of not, this city's not technically certified as LMI, do you recall?
That's for, you don't
Uh-huh.
have to be
Yeah.
a demo.
You don't have to be for demo, so I must be thinking of another project.
The rec center.
Either way, we need to be doing the surveys to get
We
that
are,
certification.
and so we started that
Yeah, we
process.
started,
I mean, we agreed as a council that that is a priority
Sweet.
at the last.
However, there's been conversation that the surveys are only good for a certain period of time.
2
We don't
years.
want the surveys to expire before we get ready to apply.
Understood. How long are they good for?
2 years.
Two,
Oh, that's good.
I think.
Yeah,
And
it
I
is 2
thought
years.
Cindy said 4.
Because I questioned it with the minutes and she said it's 2.
Who's she?
Danette, because she sent out the minutes to a pre-approval. And it's actually just 2 years, so
I
I
want to
think-
follow up on that, because
I do
think
too,
Cindy
that's
told me
crazy.
4.
maybe they, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
because by the time you get everything done, because it's what, 6 months to get it done at least?
you can get a survey done quicker than that, but there's just a lot of other stuff to get the grant application.
Right.
Yeah, because Cindy mentioned at the last meeting that at the timing, like, I think Mindy was wanting to like try to help the city and get it going like right now. And Cindy had said that you're kind of gonna be wasting 6 months of your like allotted allowable
Right.
survey results if you, does that make sense? So like, you need to do it, I guess, within her certain,
Yeah, or, you know, when
Timeframe.
we know we're gonna have an audit. Approved
Right.
input like that.
right, yes, that's true too. We get that done, but, I mean, we should have an audit pretty soon.
Sooner than later, I hope.
So that building that you're talking about putting the rec center in, let's say that that whole project failed. That's a building, that an opportunity, right?
How
You
big
could
is
get
it?
an option. I don't know, what it is.
How many?
I think 20,000,
Oh, that's it.
I think.
So that could potentially be,
There are acreage around it.
5 acres altogether, I think.
Well, like, as an
But it's right
example,
next to the
Pace is
railroad.
250,000 square
so
feet.
what they're doing already would be parallel to getting what you need done for a potential.
That's true.
Existing site,
Right,
So there's an incentive for both to help in both ways.
sure.
And the middle 9-acre building,
Mhm.
that's not occupied. I don't know how big that
The
is.
old zinc plant.
Yeah, it's got offices and cafeteria and.
I mean, would that be the same process for options for buying, purchasing property that,
Existing building.
just like the acreage thing?
So
It
to
works
get
the same
options
way?
on it? Who owns it currently?
I think the Berries do.
Yeah.
They still,
Very tool and die or whatever it's
Are
called.
they selling it to the rec center or
yes,
give it?
yeah, that.
They're selling it off. Yeah.
See that, what's the building this way?
Pace,
Pace. That, I don't know why we're not marketing it.
I know, I've always wondered that too. Why,
I think the whole, is it south
But
side?
none of
is
those
still-
fall in the same area that you're talking about,
As far as the number of acres are concerned, yeah.
because it's not in between the two tracks.
And it's
This one
adjacent to.
It's not in a premier, but the folks that are looking for existing buildings would have a lot of interest in that. If I could get to my email, I would pull up the RFI that came through today and I forwarded it to DED and I was like, what about our Pace property? And she said, absolutely. Are you guys aware of this? Who owns it?
the Pace building?
Mike King,
So this gentleman named Spencer Schulp, do we know who that
I
is?
haven't heard that.
Has been reaching out to me for over a year, and he and an investment firm that he works with, he's out of Quincy, but his firm's out of some other state, want to buy it and market it. And I thought they were
Well, it's
getting
been for
close.
sale with Prestige Realty.
But he did a tour with DED and I think Melissa, if she showed up to that meeting, I can't recall. And I don't know what happened after that, but I know that it needs work. It needs work and, but it would have fit perfect with the RFI that came through this morning. Needs environmental surveys done on it. And probably some brownfield remediation,
That's
which
what I
there's
was
grants for.
They were asking 3.3 million for it. 3.3 when it was for sale with Prestige.
I think, I was talking to Ronnie earlier, and I think those studies have come back and they're clear
The Pace buildings.
for the Pace building.
Has had a phase one done?
That's what he was saying, it just came back.
Just came back, so someone's working on selling it if they're doing phase,
Yeah,
just phase one. Just done.
Probably.
Maybe
I'm
we
not
should
sure what-
just get like an inventory of like the Pace building of the whatever buildings like we sit
Yeah.
here and listed
Mhm.
and find out the status of all of them and who owns them and what needs to be, yeah.
It's listed at 250,000 square footage.
and they want 3 they're asking 3.3.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that, ever went through.
I know the old part of the plant it's probably past fixing up. They went in and stripped out all the wiring and everything in it, so I don't know if that 250,000 is counting that part of it. but the east, the newer, part that's been built is still in good shape. But,
How old is the newer part,
uh,
roughly, I mean?
it's over 20 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say 25 or 30 probably.
Mhm.
So
But the rest of it's even older,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
So our current existing inventory would be the Pace Building, any maybe of the, I don't even know, what do we, Missouri Metalcraft?
How's our website coming along? This would be a good place to house any of this information.
It would be,
Gather.
I've been trying to update it, but it's severely, it's WordPress. The plugins are severely outdated, and it seems like I make one simple change and it breaks something else, you know?
So should we just start over?
Yeah, and I actually do have bids, but I have not presented them yet because I'm waiting for a budget. So it's not, it's in the works, but without a budget,
We can pull all sorts of unique data that these folks would find interesting, like labor shed and, just workforce data, commuter data, and have like a nice page for all things Monroe City development.
yes,
One-stop place.
yeah, one-stop shop.
Be amazing. And put that as number 4 on our to-do list.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mike King, the owner of Pace, it's called K&K Industries, and he's located in Texas. That's where he lives at.
So on your
Seven
to-do,
acres there.
on your to-do
There's
list,
7
like,
acres.
you've
Okay.
made of 1, 2, what are the 1, 2, and 3?
1 is commuter site, 2 is housing, collective housing, 3 is the LMI survey, question mark, 4 is website.
And I also had HRDC,
Have that too.
I know,
Like,
like,
kind of regional development, reach
Like-
out to them.
to invest in.
Well, just, yeah,
I would like to see that, but I don't know what anyone else's opinion is on that.
Yeah, I think that every small town needs someone at least part-time doing constant quality economic development, research, updating, website, marketing, a contact that can answer all these questions once we have a kayak and an ED rate. And before Monroe City invested with Moberly Area Economic Development, when you go through mayors and council folks, people don't always understand what economic development is and what it entails, and if they don't see a new business come in 4 years, they assume the economic developer has done nothing, when in reality, I know that economic developer who it was, and he was busting his butt. But my recommendation at this time would be to look at Hannibal Regional, just for closeness, and the fact that they're already marketing our premier site via Rawls County. Invest with them to help us with our to-do list.
Mhm. I'd agree.
The other alternatives, so 2 other alternatives would be Moberly again, which they have a new economic developer, and she's phenomenal. It's a little bit of wider swath, but I believe Monroe County itself invests in Moberly, and then also Howard County. It's 3 counties that way, 2 counties this way. We just have to decide what made the most sense for us. Or some sort of part-time something of our own. But somebody needs to be this person, and it
Yep.
can't be any one of us, because we're all
Busy and don't have the knowledge, I mean, you have, I don't have the knowledge of what any
Right.
of those things mean, but. So off the top of your head, do you like have any idea when you say invest in them, what would we be looking at? Do you
Are we
know?
recording?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, never mind.
I mean, just a guess would be 20,000, 25.
Per year?
to help promote the
To-
available.
Yeah, to hire an existing economic development entity to scoop in Monroe City in their efforts.
Okay. Hannibal's already promoting some of it.
Hannibal promotes our premier site
Okay.
because Rawls County pays Hannibal.
Okay.
And that's in Rawls County.
Okay, so it's not actually, that part's not actually costing us anything.
Yeah, correct, that's true. So she's actively doing that already. I would wager that she would do it a lot more actively, like if the city would come to the table with some of the answers that they didn't arrive with last time.
Right.
I think we need to explore that option personally a bit more. It's pretty cheap, in my opinion. Economic development expertise, like really good expertise.
Yeah, and sounds like we need to have some sort of a survey of what utilities are available already, so that, you know, if somebody asks, we can say, okay, this is what we have.
Yeah, you need to have somebody at the table, dressed nicely, willing to speak fluently to everything that's out there.
It's a sales pitch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
it
get
is.
one chance to make a first impression.
Yeah,
Or they're gonna go someplace else. They don't have to come here.
exactly.
So you better know what you're talking about.
Smoke a cigar during
Right.
a site visit or any of those things.
But that's something that is scheduled and way in advance.
I mean, yeah,
somewhat in
you'll get a
advance,
few
I would
weeks'
hope.
notice.
Yeah,
What's not scheduled in advance is the RFI response, and so like I said this morning, I saw one come out for a building where they wanted answers on who has a building like that's available, does it have this amount of megawatt capacity and this amount of gas capacity, and who can meet these needs, and here's a form and I need it back in 48 hours. That's what happens, and so even right now, I'm assuming Maria at HREDC couldn't, I don't know, I haven't seen what she's updated online, but I don't know that she could answer all those questions for our premier site, because I'm gonna take a wild guess that we haven't provided her with more than enough gas data. I know she has the gas, I know she has the 3-phase data, because that site's Ross County. And then we provided her data on if it would be a big enough load for like a substation. And then, but I'm guessing she doesn't have what she needs for natural gas and water. And wastewater.
mm-hmm. So we need to get with our department heads and gather that data.
Well, I would reach out to her first.
Yeah.
And see exactly what she's missing.
Yeah,
And then, you know, give her that updated information.
yeah,
Because there could be other things she needs to.
yeah, because we can't sell it if we don't know all the details for them.
And they want that to be extremely accurate, and Maria has, like I said, 2 days to fill it out, and she's filling it out on behalf of several of her sites too. Another thing we might consider, I don't know the last time we've gotten good aerial of the location, getting some footage over there would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if that's something that the fire department could help out on with their drone.
Great.
Yeah,
Who's the director there now?
Maria Coons. So that's number 6. So all of these things we've discussed take money. What's the city's budget look like for economic development?
Well, I think in the past it's been 0.
yeah.
Does that sound correct?
I wouldn't know why it's changed.
I mean, I've asked that in the past because I think there were like meetings that were being held or weren't being held and things that were trying to be done. But I'm like, you don't have a budget. I mean, I don't understand. Like,
They don't know what they got. They don't have it budgeted, but they don't know what they got in the accounts, so.
Right, yeah, they can't.
but we
I think he,
need to suggest that we allocate money to the budget.
right, I think he was more, well, once we get the audit done, we can have a better idea, but I think if there was a specific project or specific need, then that's where we could go ahead and, you know, look at allocating something. But,
Yeah, I mean, I would say we need, for the things we're talking about, investments we're talking about, I think we need $60,000 or $80,000.
60 to 80, yeah.
per year.
And so that's why DTMC had looked into that economic development tax idea. The city of Paris did that, and it proved to be very beneficial in just assisting their efforts in economic development. How much did we determine the city of Paris breaks in a year for that? Is it 65 or?
No, it's a little more than that, I believe.
Is it 80?
55,000.
I thought it was near 80 to 90. And we would be, I thought our number we were looking at when we were throwing around numbers would be like 150. Does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, probably.
You're talking about a half cent?
Half-cent sales tax, the city limits, and you have to create a board governing the dollars that the board is specified. It has to be, I can't remember, 2 people from the county, 2 people from the city, 1 from the schools. Random. We had drafted a list of proposed council committee folks, and then the dollars come in, and they're city dollars, but they're only to be allocated at recommendation of this committee and approval by the council.
So it's a subcommittee of the Economic Development Committee?
No,
I think it would
Not
be a development
necessarily.
committee,
it's its own.
Okay,
just because it kind of has to be with the
Right.
members of the tax.
right.
Um,
And I think we missed the April. When
yeah,
would be
we
the
need-
next?
I think we should get it on the ballot.
For November?
What does that take?
It's not real terrible, but would have to get it out there. I mean, basically, you probably know more than that. I mean, I'm sure there's some filing deadlines, but then it's just, educating our citizens that if we would like them to support it.
Why we need it,
Yeah.
why they need it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Is there a petition involved?
I had all that information, but not with me. But I could give some.
It's pretty cut and dry. It's just
It is
certain
pretty-
language
it's-
you find.
It is. And actually we have we met with the city of Paris and they like handed us a file, like, here you go.
Just
This is all you have to do. Yeah, I mean, it's perfect here for you to go. The timing of when we met in like January or February or something, and
There's too much.
it was just way too quick of a turnaround to get it done for the April ballot, but we need to be working on that now so we can get it on the November ballot.
And the great thing is, then you'll have that money for.
That we
when
can
you
pay.
wanna apply for a grant, but you have to have a 20% match, or
Mhm.
whenever you wanna.
Or if we want to partner with HRUDC.
Yeah,
that
or you
money.
need to be funding DTMC and the chamber and helping them with their efforts. I mean, that would be a perfect bucket to pull from to help all of those organizations thrive. Cause it takes all of those. I mean, I know that the DTMC and the chamber, they're not the big thing, they're not bringing anything to the industrial park, but I would say entrepreneurship is your greatest source of economic development, and that's what they're promoting.
Right.
Actually, it's something like 9 out of 10 jobs come from business retention and expansion, as 1 out of 10 comes from business attraction.
Wow.
Rural America.
So maybe we need to reprioritize our to-do list
Yeah,
that
that
we've
needs
gone
to be number 1.
through.
Tied for number 1 with the premier site,
Mhm.
perhaps. But then we could use those funds if we do need a phase 1 or 2 out there, or we use the funds to acquire the option. We'll have a bucket. That's our bucket. And that's organized and allocated by smart, dedicated people. And then if the council ever does flip over, we still have this separate board
Mhm.
that's smart, dedicated, knowledgeable, driven people that are following this existing strategic plan that we're beginning to lay out tonight with the investments, and not just being all willy-nilly about it. Not that you guys are, hopefully you're ready to run and just be councilman forever. But
1 year.
I think this committee has to be the meat of it all too. You can't have separate, I don't know, not saying this is happening, but you could have it like the mayor going off doing his own thing. Everything that comes to the table comes to the mayor or to City Hall. So it should be recommended to this committee to hash out. Because you might be, somebody's over here doing something and then they don't know somebody over here doing something.
Right.
Everything needs to come to here, so
Easy to have a conflict, you're right.
Yeah.
you have control over it.
Yeah, so you don't have 2 people fighting over the same property and don't even know it.
People come to a council meeting and will request something that the mayor should immediately say, this should be gone to the committee and suggest they go to that committee and go to that meeting rather than hashing it out right then and there, because there might be something going on within committee that they aren't even aware of yet.
Right.
And that's something that, that's been a problem in the past, is that the committees aren't used properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't used properly in the past because they didn't have meetings.
And which is probably why they stopped having meetings.
And then nothing gets done.
Correct.
Well, you gotta give that committee the authority that they deserve to have.
Mhm.
That eliminates
That's a good
that.
point, Donnie.
Well, keep in mind too, that the committee is only making recommendations to the council, but the council needs to let them do that.
Right.
Mhm.
Got all the details.
And when the
presented.
committee recommendation comes to the council, they just need the recommendation, they don't need all the exhibits and all the pages that we've
Right.
gone through, they need to know,
Right.
we recommended these 8 or whatever individuals. Ask their due diligence questions, but we don't need to rehash everything.
Right. Yeah,
That's my biggest pet peeve in like any organization about committees, it's like, we already did this work, just trust us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You placed us on this committee, you should have confidence that we're coming to you with
Yeah.
the knowledge you asked.
That's the whole point of the committee is to
To
shorten.
Yeah.
If we were to put our efforts into the ED tax idea, I mean, that would be something really good to launch this group.
If we made that maybe our primary focus for the next couple months or something,
Absolutely.
to look into that.
Any
In the
idea what the
meantime, if
deadline is for
someone-
November ballot?
No, off the top of my head,
Right.
I know
And if we
it's,
fail in November, can we try again? in
Yep.
April? Just so you have to wait.
Is there a 1 year? I can get you all of that information tomorrow. So I was thinking I would have.
I think it's a year.
I was thinking for some reason that just came to my mind that if you fail, you have to wait a year before you can repropose it. That's why we were kind of like, we don't want to put this together and not be,
100%.
yeah, it won't be
ready
good,
for
and
it.
then we put ourselves.
Right.
You can,
Problem is taxes are
Have
gonna be
some
hard
town
to
hall
pass with
meetings.
things now.
Yeah.
Town hall meetings would be actually really, probably riveting, because we could, like, make them into a strategy session. And just
Mm-hmm.
like talk all about what do you guys wanna see for community development, and then. at
And
the
get
end
their
of that-
buy-in.
And we can make that happen.
Uh-huh.
If you pass, an ED tax,
Right.
public comment on that. But if we're serious about that, in November, we should take a look at what that board makeup will look like and get those folks on board. Tony DeGrave and that we're all be like 2 business owners, or I can't remember.
So how much of this do we do before we present that to the council?
Good question.
I mean, I know we need the blessing of the council for the sales tax, but do we say, here's what we're thinking, how it kind of might look? Do we have your blessing to move forward on working on this strategy? Do we do that, or do we just get the committee set up and say, oh, by the way?
I would think that you take, the DTMC has already done a lot of the homework, right? And if they would come to the next meeting, your all's next meeting, and present what they have, and then that might have enough information to make a recommendation from that.
We could take what we've researched and put it into a presentation. We can,
But that's the avenue it should take. It should go through here, because DTMC shouldn't go straight to the council. They should come here.
Right. Right. Yeah, because why redo work if it's already been partially done, or
Like if Lori hadn't been here, or some of the people that are on the DTMC committee, this committee wouldn't even know that's happening.
right.
we could come present at the next council meeting, and your question was like, how far do we get? I think we share what the committee makeup would be like, and then we could say, we would consider adding people like Tony DeGrave, should he have interest, and so should they have interest to this committee? And like lay out the time, I'm just seeing the presentation in my head, it would be like 15 slides, and then at the end they have they're so astounded they have to say it.
Well, I just tried to search my email. I don't have it with me, but I could send it out to everybody like tomorrow if you wanted to look at some.
And then I could start a presentation Canva that we all could work on. Not saying I'll be at the next council meeting, so I can make it and somebody could present it.
Next one is Thursday.
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
the
okay, well,
13th.
after that.
Yeah, we won't be ready by that one, but
27th maybe.
That could be my action item, because I think as far as like meetings wise, I might be hit or miss. But if I can make marketing materials, that happens here. Also, will someone take on the action of meeting with Maria to, one, talk about the Premier site, and two, see if there's interest in a potential contractual arrangement and what the cost would be, just being fully transparent that we don't have a budget yet, but we're.
I would meet with her because I've worked with her in other capacities if you want, or unless someone else has a great
Yeah,
desire to do
yeah,
so.
that way we know how much we're looking to need.
Yeah, and you could also ask for what info she's needing from us, the city.
So then the housing photos, who was following up with Cindy on that?
Yeah, I didn't, I mean, I can ask her,
Maybe there was another reason that stalled, like you said, with the audit, or I can't remember. And then, does anyone know where the road widening project is at?
It's done.
We killed it.
How what?
It's dead.
Why?
We couldn't find a purpose for it. Because if you're widening the road but not widening it at the railroad tracks,
$300,000.
yeah, $300,000 that we don't have.
No jobs, we don't know.
Yeah.
Bad time.
I think it was more about the money, wasn't it?
It was.
It was primarily right now.
Yeah.
We couldn't justify spending that much right now.
And then Robin's following up on the LMI survey.
Yeah.
And when that will be the most.
Yeah, I think she's on hold with that LMI survey.
I'll follow up on the case building interest from that one. If someone could confirm if that was truly phase one that was completed on that.
Yes.
Who did it?
Was it
Nobody from the city.
EPA? Would that be the first? DNR maybe, yeah.
You're saying if someone would have
I think
requested
he had
it,
it
is
on
what you're
his
asking?
desk.
Who did phase one on the building?
Yeah.
On our ED committee, we need an engineer, by the way. On our tax committee, whatever you call that, tax council, fund council, whatever it's called.
Michael Pearl, maybe.
Remind me again, I'm making myself notes, Ally. When I talk to Maria, I'm gonna ask her about the Premier site info that is still needed, correct? HREDC costs and whatever for us to join. Was there one more thing?
You're gonna send out the ED tax info.
Yes, I got that.
And then I'll start a Canva, and if you guys are familiar with Canva, I'll share it with all of you, which means everyone can work on it.
Oh, cool. I used that when I did my campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Canva, so like I could like
Donnie,
build
so
it
if you
out
wanna
and
get
say-
on there and add your stuff,
Yeah. If you
we'll
think
do
of
it, okay?
something,
Okay.
Sure.
I'm not picking on you. Just that she's familiar with
I'm
Canva.
with you.
I don't use it either. So don't-
Good stuff.
So then the next item would be the review of incentives. Is there like,
And that's a need to do list. I'll send you samples of utility ED rates and contributions in native construction. I'll send samples, but that's just utility incentives. I don't know who we could call in to help us with like just general tax related incentives.
have something we can ask them?
Trying to think. I feel like theirs is only utility related, or maybe one-off related based on the type of entity that's coming into town. I'm not really sure.
I think it's somewhat general. I mean, that helps with a bunch of stuff. The mutual aid agreement's somewhat broad here and there.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. It'd almost be good to have some sort of meeting where we have a bunch of people that know this stuff. We could have like someone from Gilmore Bell talk to us about the different, like state and federal opportunities. We have someone from another city that's doing it really good come talk to us. You know, Maria come share what she knows, which is likely a lot about that topic. Or we just wait until we hire a firm and then we just start pulling the knowledge from them. You know, I'm assuming it'd be a requirement that they attend each of these meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Hire someone that knows what they're doing, like Miss Maria.
What do you guys think would be the best thing to use for collaboration on keeping everybody up to date?
I would assume our email. Is that what you're asking about? Like
Yeah,
communication method is
just to
best
say-
for all of us? Probably emails, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as like because since we'll be sending out like maybe some
Right,
information.
well, and then we'll have the Canva board to, I think there's a section on there for comments and stuff too, so,
Sure is.
yeah.
Just talking out loud, HREC, they don't cover Monroe County, right?
Correct.
So how would that look?
Um,
No, I'm just for strictly.
It would just be an
the PACE
investment.
building is in Monroe County.
but it's
Mhm.
in the city limits,
Yeah.
so it would just be an additional investment from the city, and she would market anything within the city's
Okay.
limits.
So if we decided to join HREC, they would look at the entire.
Mhm.
And I think I said earlier, Monroe County invests in Moberly, but I think it's actually just the city of Paris.
You're right. It is. No. Okay.
Okay.
I think it is the industrial board. I think it's Monroe County because I know Shane at the bank is on their board and he wouldn't be involved in the city of Harris's. So it's got to be the county.
Got it.
That makes sense.
It'd be good to know what our county's offering too. We have 3 counties.
Mhm.
You know what Rawls would do, and especially with that being our industrial. park.
Offering for
Like
just
tax abatement or incentives and
Mhm.
stuff. I don't have a email I should know. It'd be nice to know what they offer Monroe, Rawls, and area.
And I mean, because we're in all three, that's a pain, but also could be a good thing. I mean, we have the
Right.
opportunity for all three, you know.
The inventory item on the to-do list would be very beneficial thing to do. But I would see that being something we could assign to our,
Hmm.
the organization we hire if we do it as a that point. Anybody else need an item on their to-do list?
I think that's like lots of progress.
Yes, I'm
Mhm.
impressed. I'm very impressed.
I don't know if Debbie wanted to pair, I mean, there's proposed changes in our floodplain and I don't.
I
I
shouldn't-
have 0 details on it, so I don't know.
I can,
Um,
I mean, I could reach out to her and ask her for just some information and maybe just forward or whatever, or
Yeah.
just,
yeah.
she could just provide all of us
Yeah.
maybe a little, would that be good? Just a little update of something, or else we can, I guess, at the next meeting. How often are we meeting?
We don't have a schedule.
We didn't set a schedule. It sounds like we've got some really good ideas. So do we want to go ahead and set up some sort of recurring schedule?
It sounds like if we're going to try to get a November ballot issue, we need to,
Get on it.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yes.
meet more frequently.
Mm-hmm. So maybe, like, we set ourselves a nice big long list of to-dos, maybe like in 2 weeks or something, we just come back with some update. Is that too soon? I hate meetings, but
Say the
That's a good idea,
Yeah,
for right now, anyway,
Yeah.
to get,
24th, and then the next meeting is the 28th, or the 27th rather.
Mondays prior to council.
Which this month is different because of the training. So next month it won't be so late in the month for the second one.
You said we're talking the 24th, then. So
Yes.
I'll be out.
well, you have a lot of good information to
Yes.
provide, Ally. I would assume maybe we might want to.
We'll work
No,
around your
I'm
schedule.
happy to run my mouth and find people things to do, and I'm not in charge, sorry.
Does Monday look okay for everybody?
Well, she just said
Except
she'll
for-
be,
I mean,
maybe-
would a different day work
You
better
could
for
put me
you?
on the phone if you wanted. I'll be in a
That's-
hotel room, so.
well, for how long? Like for that week, I'm asking a lot of
Oh,
your
yeah, I'm
personal
just going
information.
away that week.
That whole week.
The whole week, okay.
Through Thursday, right.
So, but in general, like, I like the idea, if, I'm just speaking, but the Mondays before the council meetings is kind of nice, so we know what to present. Maybe this
Right.
first meeting, we may have to like put off, or else would you rather us just call you and go ahead with the meeting?
Whatever you want. You might like it better than not to. Send you the Canva link and you can review it. No, I can hop on the phone.
I say we could do a call, yeah.
Okay,
Put a laptop down here so I can see your faces.
Yeah.
And
okay.
it'll be just as useful.
Is 6 o'clock okay for you when you're gone?
We could do a Google Meet or something maybe.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
great.
okay,
Okay, so we're talking this. Cool.
yeah.
And will we plan to present the tax concept at that meeting on the 27th or whatever? Or not? So
I say we set it as a goal,
Let's set-
anyway.
Yeah, set that for the goal.
I think once I send you that information, we're gonna have everything we need to know, and at least to present the idea to them. I mean, once you make it look pretty in Canva and everything, but, you know.
Thing we didn't talk about that came up on the social media channels was the capitalizing on marketing the lake traffic. If we could maybe just
Yeah.
have that for the next agenda and make that
Absolutely, we need to do that. Mhm.
since the citizens were asking about it on social.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was actually watching I forgot where it was, somewhere up in Michigan, but they have some digital billboards in their town, and they were looking at advertising on those. And they call it a blip or something like that, but it was only gonna be like $700 for a full month of blips. I don't know what their pricing is on the one that we have here by JC's, but
It's pretty expensive.
it's probably pretty
It is very
high.
pricey.
Yeah.
We've looked into it.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean that, I mean,
Right.
we've looked at it in different areas, but I could get you some information if you want to know
Yeah,
what
I
that
mean,
is.
just to explore what options.
Huh?
Once we pass our tax.
Yes, once we
Yeah.
pass our tax.
We're working pretty hard on some development out of the lake too.
Good.
Mhm.
Launch facilities that would kind of mirror stuff on the southern Missouri. Echo Plus? Southern Missouri. Would be a state park property.
Cool.
With like rooms and meeting spaces and such.
Is that gonna be on the lake or?
Hmm.
Cool.
Campings for us and large.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like Jellystone is doing a ton of business, are they?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Be interesting to know
Yeah.
how they do. I think this would be super complementary to all of that.
Yeah.
And this would focus on too, like, one thing that I think we're missing out there is, like, event traffic as far as, like, corporate events and getaways and retreats and stuff. So,
Yeah, very true.
Northeast Power, we have our annual meeting in Quincy. So there's not really any good solid space for all of the things that we need to host 150 people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Things like that would be
they'd add a wedding venue to it too, would be like a great idea for
That's
them.
on my wish list. I wanna do that at the end of routing somewhere. Yeah.
I'm just in that, like, all the girls right now are like, there's nowhere to have a wedding.
Nobody gets married in church.
Or your reception
Well,
either, like,
reception-wise,
the-
yeah.
they like,
Because it's Henderson Hall, is it still,
Yeah,
They're
they're redoing and they're like, yeah, putting air
Oh,
conditioning, yeah,
cool.
that's gonna be great,
that'll help a lot.
absolutely.
Okay, do we have anything else?
Yeah, I don't have any details for the floodplain update, so,
I'll send you guys some information on the Tri-State Summit that's coming up this fall, which is good for you all to
okay.
attend and learn.
What's the topic?
It is, so we've kind of switched this to do like everything ED and the breakout sessions on different tracks on like housing or
Okay, yeah.
different things. Oh, workforce housing, put that on the next list.
Workforce housing, okay.
Who's the chair? Are you the chair?
Yes,
I'm gonna inundate you guys with a few emails the next couple of days.
We can't wait. I'm just kidding. No, you have good info, Ally.
is there anything else? Just to
Okay,
review, our next meeting will be June 24th at 6 here. And we're gonna start that Canva project, so we'll try to do the sales tax.
We can review it on the 24th and
Okay.
then present it on the 20th, Thursday.
27th, yes.
cool.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds good.
I like this.
Yeah,
Hours,
yes,
at least a lot.
Definitely.
Tasks.
good job.
Call this meeting adjourned.